Get some coffee. Are you serious? Are you serious? Get some coffee, everybody. There's some crazy things going on right now in the world. We got this Comet Atlas that's about to explode. It's erupting right now and breaking apart. But it was not expected that to happen. We have had a 6.7 mega quake. We have raw sewage being poured into the streets of Houston. We have a UFO information and a whole lot more. Let me tell you all about this. Let's first talk about the comet because, and don't forget, guys, the webinar did I say October? The webinar August the 2nd is coming up. Aliens Among Us. You can go to Eventbrite and get your ticket for that. That is coming up. That's sneaking upon us quickly. All right. Guys, a very, very, this comet looks like it's doomed. It's doomed. This comet called Tushanshan Atlas, okay? Tushanshan Atlas is about to fall apart. It's inevitable. Matter of fact, according to a new study, an astronomer Zekana, evidence suggests that the comet has entered. Let me just turn this up a little bit. Just some people said it's not loud enough. So I'm going to adjust that just a little. Evidence suggests that the comet has entered into an advanced phase of fragmentation. If true, this is a very disappointing news. Discovered early in 2023, the comet appeared to be heading for a magnificent close encounter with the sun later this year, perhaps becoming as bright as the planet Venus in October of 2024. Instead, it could fall apart long before it has a chance to become an October surprise, and we wouldn't be able to see the beauty of this Comet Atlas. Now, the arguments are that first, the comet has failed to brighten as it approaches the sun. Second, its orbit seems to be affected by a non-gravitational acceleration. This could happen if the inner jets are pushing apart a disintegrating nucleus of the comet. Or third, the comet's dust tail just has an unusually narrow teardrop shape with a peculiar orientation. They're just not positive which of the three scenarios is happening, but we know this: the Comet Atlas is in trouble. As it's headed toward the sun, it may or may not be the brightest star in the sky or the brightest light in the sky, because it may be we're not going to get to have a October surprise. And yes, we did have a 6.7 earthquake. It hit in South Africa. It happened in South Africa. According to the report, the U.S. Geological Survey, give me 1 second here. I want to make sure I get this correctly. This just happened just a few hours ago in the middle of the night, but the U.S. Geological Survey detected this quake, which was categorized as a very strong, very shallow earthquake south of South Africa. And it shook South Africa, even though it was quite a ways, it was almost halfway to Antarctica. It was in between Antarctica and South Africa. But because it was so powerful and so shallow, it shook South Africa very strong. Now, there's so far no reports of damage or casualties. Thank God, because this thing was extremely strong, extremely powerful, but just a little too far off the coast to do significant damage. So we can thank God for that. I'll tell you that. Yeah, the speakers for the webinar, just so I don't forget, Stan Deo. I mean, he's amazing. He is going to be he's going to bring forth information that he's been sitting on for a long time. He's going to finally release it in this webinar. Stan Deo. Also, Harvard professor Avi Loeb. Incredible. And this guy, every time he just constantly keeps bringing things forward. It's shocking the UFO community. It's shocking, actually, the United States Congress and the commissions. I mean, he's actually found spheres. He's the guy that found that when Uma went flying through, that Uma was not, that interstellar object was not coming across like everything else. It would stop and slow down and go and change directions. Meteorites, asteroids, comets, they don't do that. Okay? They don't change speed and change direction. All right, so he said something more of an intelligence was directing this thing. What does that mean? Okay, and Bishop Larry Ragland will be with us, and he's amazing. He'll be on fire, and he will be exposing the darkness and helping us understand the whole biblical narrative of strange encounters. And then there's BP Earthwatch, who always digs into the ancient texts along with the newest information and technologies on aliens. And then, of course, Mike from around the world says he can't wait for this webinar. He's itching to give us new information we've never heard. And Rex Bear, always excellent in this category. And he'll be bringing forth some great stuff. L.A. Marzulli, the master, the guy who brought us the Nephilim Trail, the man who really understood Genesis 6 and the Seed War, one of the very first to bring it out, if not the first, when he wrote his trilogy on the Nephilims. He has brand new info just now releasing. He's going to bring it in this webinar. Also going to play a replay from a past webinar with Stephen Bassett, who was interviewed there, who was sitting in Congress when they were coming out with information in those hearings. And then he came over and I interviewed him from his office in Washington, D.C. He is fascinating. I'm going to put him in there. And then we still got some more to be named. So August the 2nd, don't miss it. Get your ticket. It is going to be important. All right. So, the Comet Atlas is breaking apart, and we have a mega quake south of South Africa. All right. So these things are very, very real. That's for sure. But Houston, we've got a serious, serious problem. And I'm going to tell you guys all about that in just a second. Also, I do have some UFO info too that I think is important since we're talking about that. But first of all, let me put a shout out for tricono.com/Paul. That's tricono.com/Paul. If you suffer from any type of daily pain, I need you to listen, guys, to this message very carefully. You see, what we know about the root cause of pain is changing forever. As we age, the aches, the pains, they may be natural, and we are all searching for effective ways to relieve the pain without side effects and addiction. And let's just be frank. We have all seen the horrors of the opioid crisis, and you may even be affected personally. And that's where a pioneering medical scientist named Clint Winters steps in. You may have seen this world-renowned health expert featured in national media, and he's unveiled a natural pain reliever that's taking the world by storm. Yes, it is Kahanadine, 100% drug-free to get full-body pain relief without using dangerous pills. And as you listen to this, Kahanadine has become the go-to pain reliever for over 1 million Americans and hundreds of professional athletes. And it is so powerful that it's even being used extensively by UFC fighters. And believe me, those guys know a thing or two about pain. So Clint Winters explains that Kahanadine is the only compound in the earth that optimizes your body's natural painkillers called endorphins. Guys, find out about it. Go to tricono.com/Paul. That's tricono.com/Paul. You'll be glad that you did. No doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. All right? Guys, let me tell you something, though. Houston, we've got a problem. Houston, we've got a serious problem. And that is 154,000 gallons of raw sewage is spilled after the power outage. Houston warns its residents that 154,000 gallons of domestic wastewater or raw sewage has spilled into the downtown area after Hurricane Beryl dumped heavy rain and cut the power to much of the metropolitan area. This is a horrible situation. Residents within a half a mile of the spill site near the confluence of Buffalo and White Oak bayous who rely on private wells. You're warned. You got to boil the water. Don't drink the water in Houston for at least a minute or two. Boil the water. I think you should get bottled water if any way possible. Don't consume it. According to municipal water supplies, they say are not affected, the Public Works Department said, but the public should avoid contact with the water, this waste material, the soil in the water in the area potentially affected by the spill. Do not swim in the affected area. If you have well waters, don't dare drink it. Okay, Houston, we got a problem. And still, guys, there's over 1 million people without power. Over 1 million. Hurricane Beryl, and it's hot. It was 103 yesterday. Pray for everybody in Houston. Seriously, guys, pray for our brothers and sisters down there as this hurricane has wreaked havoc in Texas. UFOs information. What? I mean, really, this category, every time I think that we've pretty well, we're done talking about it, we don't want to hear, look, you can't deny that people have had encounters with something. We know that there's angels. We know there's fallen angels. There's good angels. We know there's Nephilim, reptilians. We know that there's all kinds of different entities, good or bad. Experts reveal the real reason UFOs target high-speed planes and warheads. They're now saying they know why that UFO or these unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomenon, why do they always seem to show up around high-speed planes or rocket or warheads? The videos, there's been videos appearing to show UFOs flying near high-speed planes, warheads, and even nuclear reactors. And experts have an alarming theory to why these locations always seem to be targeted. In 1976, British Airways aired an ad for Concorde in which an orb-like UFO darts toward the aircraft at an incredibly high speed, seemingly analyzes the plane, and then accelerates away. Okay? And here's the Concorde. This is from that ad, and you can see that little white dot there below it. You have to understand, this is the fastest plane in the world. This thing is screaming across the sky, the Concorde. And below it, there's this orb, and the orb travels along with the craft and then circles it real quick and then flies away. I mean, you can't do that, okay? No. What did that? What kind of technology is that? And is it from Earth or is it from some other entity or some other dimension? The unconfirmed UFO appearance, though, which has resurfaced where alleged videos of the craft have been shared, one of many that shows this odd, almost exquisite behavior like unknown objects. Back in June of 2022, at the Queen's Jubilee, the longest-serving royal monarch, Queen Elizabeth, was honored by a cadre of 9 fighter jets that were spewing streams of smoke in the Union Jack red, white, and blue colors, and one identified disc appeared with the flying jets. People seen it. Thousands seen it. Despite it making the rounds on media even, nobody has an answer. No one has an answer. And also, remember when Fukushima, remember the earthquake? It was a 9.1 mega earthquake that hit just off the coast of Japan near their nuclear plant called Fukushima. When this thing happened, there was hundreds of people reporting they saw a flying disc above the Fukushima area during that nuclear disaster. So anyway, this is the kind of things we're going to bring up and talk about in the webinar coming up, Aliens Among Us. Don't miss that. Get your ticket. You can get it over at Eventbrite, okay? You can get it at Eventbrite. Pretty soon I'll have it on the website. We can grab it there. Find out all about it. And don't miss it, okay? We're living in the end times. There's no doubt about that. We're in the end times. The earth can shake, the sky come down, the mountains all fall to the ground. But I will fear none of those things. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Dark waters rise, the thunder pounds, the wheels of war are going round, and all the walls, I'll be right back, are crumbling. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. The wind will blow, the rain can pour, the deluge break, the tempest roars. But in that storm, my spirit sings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Are you serious? Shelter us, Lord, from these storms. It's getting crazy out there. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. Now on that day, you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be, and I say, death, where is your sting? Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Are you serious about it? You better be. We are living in the last days. that day you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be, well, I say, death, where is your sting? Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Oh, that's right. Somebody shout, shelter me, Lord. Hey, yay, hey. I mean, I just love singing that song. I just love singing that song. There's another song I like singing that's pretty rocky. Psalms 3. And I put that on, I can't remember which album. I think it was my second album called Wayfaring Stranger. Pretty sure I did it on that one. Anyway, I just like rocking the place out. I really do. Guys, I'll be back with some more current world events, how they relate to biblical prophecy. Things are happening. I'll be right back in a little bit, in a few minutes, with more on the coming apocalypse.